It's a blue.
Okay, we all ready? Okay.
You were obviously.
The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting has been satisfied. A copy of the annual meeting notice was sent to the press, Down Beach Current, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, the municipal website, and filed in the office of the municipal clerk. The meeting will come to order. Will you please stand for the flag salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, please.
Mayor Becker?
Here.
Commissioner Tarby?
Here.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Here.
Why don't we change the agenda and do the discussion items before we do department head reports? Would that be acceptable
good
for
idea.
everybody? Yes. Mr. Wahlberg, dredging, please.
Everyone should have a copy of my report. I want to go through that real quick. The municipal building repurposing.
Ed, this is going to be special about dredging.
Okay, you want to
Okay, we'll
just
do
go with
that,
that
then we'll
first?
go to department head report.
A stakeholders committee essentially has been formed to investigate, try to push the lagoon dredging and back bay dredging in Margate. Okay, little history. Years ago, we had money allocated by the state. We've tried several times to get dredging done. Always hit a roadblock. The state has since turned over dredging from DEP to DOT. During that transition, one of the casualties was our funding. We don't know where it went. But at this point, we've been in contact with both DEP and DOT, and I had suggested that we form a committee of some sort to get dredging to the forefront, bring it to everyone's attention. I'm personally dedicated to it as a resident as well as a professional. We're going to meet on Monday. Many of the bayfront homeowners and anyone else that can help us at this point. Commissioner Talby will be there taking minutes. Several people from Sunset Lagoon and Orient Lagoon or Canal will be there, and see what comes of it. But at this point, we need to start shaking the trees. We need to start kicking and screaming to try to get something to happen with our back bays, because a lot of dredging is taking place, and Cape May, for example, got dredging done. Avalon has undertaken a major project dredging, and if something's going to happen, now is the time for it to happen. We need to do something at this point, because the mouths of those two canals have closed up significantly. We have Bayshore Lagoon, which is almost dry during low tide, and then we have the Amherst Avenue stretch, which we have a lot of, we have a business there that can't use their boats during low tide. We have a couple of marinas that are doing okay, but they need to be dredged. So that's pretty much what's happening. Now's the time to do something, because, like I said, DOT is very pro-dredging. DEP was never pro-dredging, and we need to try to get them on board. The other piece of the equation is that Sunset and Orient, the centers of those two canals are owned by the state. They were dedicated to the state in 1950. So it's clearly the state's responsibility to maintain them. So, part of the, I personally had talked to a couple of the legislators, asking them if we need their help, will they participate? They said yes. This has been going on since back when Bill Ross was the mayor, so it's that long ago. And nothing seems to be happening. We need to do something. This is our opportunity. Again, it's one of the things associated with Sandy, that the change happened with the state. We need to try to jump on it.
Okay, good job. Get that done. Ed.
Okay. Mike, what is it that you need us to do as commissioners, and would it be recommended that the 3 commissioners rotate as part of the committee?
That's a decision. Yeah, that's a decision. It's up to you guys. This is a stakeholders committee. To see, we have a lot of people on the lagoon that know a lot of people and have a personal interest in this. And if I can get them, excuse the expression, get them riled up to make something happen, it can't hurt.
Right. So one of the things that absolutely should be discussed is initially, after the first meeting, letters to every individual that lives on the lagoon, I would think. A letter that would go out to every individual that lives on the different lagoons, letting them know that we met
Exactly.
and calling them to action.
Minutes of the meeting, and obviously I'm looking for any suggestions from anyone.
Right.
So that we can make something happen. But
Obviously, I can't sit in the first one, but I'll volunteer to sit in the second one. Mike, you want to sit in the third one?
I don't know, it's new to me. I'll get back to you on that. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we done with that, Ed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move to Mr. Deeney for the bench program, Rich, and then we'll come back to Ed for department head reports.
I just wanted to talk publicly about the bench program and then get some guidance from either the staff or the commissioners, because I'm kind of at a loss. The bench program was a program in which people were able to, and it's still on it's still on our website, where people can pay money and have a bench dedicated to various people, and there's various locations in the city. And it was my understanding from the previous clerk that the program was suspended for some period of time. And now we have a couple of people that are looking for guidance on whether the program is going to be activated again or whether it isn't. And I'm looking for that same guidance so I can advise them accordingly. Does anybody can help me with that? I appreciate it.
I have no problem reactivating that program.
You okay with it?
Frank, you were...
So there's no obstacles to be able to do that. We could find places for the
Brenda?
benches and we could activate that
Okay,
program.
go for it.
Rosie used to have the clerk's office used to have a map with all the locations where the benches were, so somewhere there should be a file with that. And Frank might even have a copy as well.
Okay. I want to respond to those people as quickly as I can, Frank, and if I can work with you on that, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Does that give you the information you need, Rich?
I'm good. I just wanted to make sure that I might have been unaware of something that I want to catch everybody at the same time. So
Good.
that's good.
This is the place to do it. Ed, you want to go, or you want me to go to the other
I'm
side?
ready. Okay. The main item today, we had our pre-bid meeting for the municipal building repurposing on Washington Avenue. Significant increase in number of bidders this time. There were 10 individuals that showed up for the meeting, probably representing 6 contractors at least. I didn't look at the sign-in sheet, but everyone went through the building, didn't have any real significant concerns. Everyone thought it was pretty straightforward. I advised them they have to sharpen their pencils. We want to get this awarded. We are looking to receive the bids on March 11th, and should the low bidder be, documents being in order, we would request that you award the contract the following Thursday. The road program is grinding to a halt right now because of the temperatures. They're trying to do some work out there on Marshall, but the rest of the streets, at this point, until it warms up a little bit, there's not going to be any action, unfortunately. To date, we have Mansfield Avenue, the water main installation's complete, water and sewer services are complete, and the concrete needs to be done. On Benson, same thing, all the pipe work's done, concrete needs to be scheduled. On Granville, we have all the pipe work done, and the concrete is essentially complete. There's a few small pieces. Exeter Avenue, the storm sewer is complete, the water main is complete, sewer main is complete, and the new services are complete. They have removed all the dewatering and moved it to Marshall. Again, the concrete has to be done there. On Marshall, we have the well points installed, and then the temperature dropped. So as soon as they can get in there and work, as soon as it warms up a little bit. And then Douglas Avenue will be scheduled after Marshall. We also, let's see, we have Amherst Avenue going out to bid. Amherst is from Washington to Vendome. It's a state aid, New Jersey Transportation Trust Fund funded project, partially funded. The remainder is funded through bond ordinance. And then the next phase of the road program will be going out to bid subsequent to that. I'd like to try to have them out at the same time. Hopefully we'll get better prices. And I believe that's pretty much everything else. Yeah, that's pretty much all that's happening right now.
Thank you, Ed. Frank?
I can't wait till spring.
All of us.
We've had a couple little snowstorms we dealt with, which weren't really that much to us. It's the cold weather that's getting us. We've shut off well over 100 homes in Margate. We anticipate a lot more. In the wintertime in February, we average about 600,000 gallons of water use a day. On Monday, we were at 1 million. Tuesday, we were at 1,500,000. Yesterday, we were at 1,800,000. Today, we expect it to be even higher. We're starting to get control of it. We had 3 water mains that broke that contribute to that, but there are still plenty of houses out there leaking. And other than that, we've just been running around crazy 24 hours a day, shutting water off.
Frank, thank you. You've done a great job, and the team's done a great job. And I heard that more snow might be on the way Sunday night.
Well, we're looking at Saturday, and then as Saturday progresses, it's supposed to get warmer overnight and turn back to rain, and then rain on Sunday. Sunday evening, though, the temperature's supposed to drop back down into the 20s, but, you know, hopefully the rain event will be over.
Thank you, Jeff. Chief Tabasso.
Along with Public Works, Mayor, we've been responding to many calls of all types, but to go along with the weather problems, we've responded to many homes and some of our high-rises with broken water pipes, hazardous conditions, and we've worked alongside Public Works and the police on those calls, shutting off water, removing hazards, and notifying people. But it's been very busy. I'll bet this week alone we've been to 35 water leaks. So it's been high volume. And also in some of our buildings like Island House and 9300 Atlantic. There's been broken pipes, broken sprinklers. We've had to call the fire official in to monitor the situations, but right now everything's under control. So,
Thank you, Tony.
you're welcome.
Good afternoon. We're gearing up to have our annual water and sewer bills mailed out. We are anticipating to mail them out mid-March or the end of March with a due date of June 1st. I'm going to be sending out the insert to the printer tomorrow. So far, I've updated the information I've received from everyone. If there's anything the mayor or commissioners want, if you could just let me know by tomorrow morning, I'd appreciate it, because it's going to take a few weeks to get them back from the printer once they're proofed and everything. So we're on track for that. And the only other thing I wanted to mention is that I attended this morning the annual JIF Safety Kickoff Breakfast. Margate did once again receive an Excellence Award, and we can expect to receive $2,250 this year as part of the safety incentive program. And I just wanted to give some acknowledgement to Dan Adams, who's been our safety coordinator, I think, since our participation with the Jeff. He does a great job with that. There's a lot of paperwork involved, and I appreciate all the help that he does for the city with that. And that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Lisa. Chief Wilson.
I just want to publicly thank Frank and Tony. Our communications department has been extremely busy with these water breaks, and I think people forget that they're the first line to get the calls, and if not for the expedient response of Public Works and the fire department, we would be getting much more calls back of complaining. So thank you, guys. Other than that, everything's good.
Okay, thanks. Mr. Deeney.
The only report I have is on the budget. If you'd like me to hold that to the second meeting, I can, or if you'd like it now, whichever way you'd like it.
What's your pleasure? I have no preference. Mark?
Okay.
Do it.
Just going to read a short statement and announce to the public that this is the introduction of the budget. There won't be a public hearing until April. It'll be published in the newspaper. It'll be plenty of time to absorb the details. We're not here to take questions tonight on the budget. We're just here to hopefully introduce the budget, get it out to the public so the public can absorb it, and then we'll be available over the next several weeks for questions. This is a copy. This is a memo I sent to the commissioners last evening. It said, "Commissioners, your copy of the 2015 operating budget has been placed in your city mailbox. It is scheduled to be introduced at the meeting on February 19th. It totals $31,575,568. If adopted on first reading, the hearing and second reading will be April 2nd, after the meeting of the Board of School estimate, which is now scheduled tentatively for March 25th, 2015. The total budget for 2015 is actually a reduction of $124,843. This is largely attributable to a reduction of revenues and expenditures from federal and state grants. Anticipated revenues, including an increase in surplus funds and an increase in receipts for anticipated receipts from delinquent taxes, matched by the reduction in grant revenue and miscellaneous local revenue sources. The tax rate, therefore, can be kept at the same as last year, which is .601, 60.1 cents per hundred for the Margate municipal portion of the property tax rate. As elected leaders, together with municipal staff, we have made a substantial effort over the past several years in reducing expenditures where practical without sacrificing services. This has largely been accomplished by reducing staff, particularly full-time personnel, as well as reducing future debt service by limiting some capital expenditures and funding others through revenue other than municipal taxes. The FEMA grants and reimbursements have been helpful, as has other federal Sandy funding. Changes to state law, which have shifted some pension and health benefit costs to employees, has actually reduced these costs and is noticeable, particularly in 2015. However, the 4-year phase-in period for health benefit costs that are being absorbed by employees will soon be coming to an end. Our rateable base has been growing consistently at a little less than 1% per year, which offsets a portion of the natural inflationary pressures on personnel costs and commodities. This past year, we experienced a rateable growth of 0.97% compared to 0.74% in 2013. So I point out that those who think that the building boom is saving our budget, it is not. It is contributing, however, to our ability to provide services, and it's offsetting inflation to some extent by a little less than 1% a year, which is very helpful. Our surplus position has steadily improved through conservative revenue projections and spending efficiencies like bulk buying, shared bidding opportunities, joint insurance programs, delayed employee replacement, increased employee participation in health care costs, and revised labor contract provisions. Year-end surplus in 2011 was $2,755,000. 2012, it was $3,128,000. 2013, it was $4,119,000, and for 2014, we ended the year with $4,681,000. So there's been a substantial increase in the last 4 years in the end-of-year surplus position. About 3/4 of this surplus is used each year to offset costs in the following year's budget. And you'll see that in the budget that we're projecting. We're reappropriating over $3 million of our surplus to be used to offset the cost of operations. This is a normal procedure. I wish to acknowledge the contributions of the department heads to this team effort. They have stepped up and put a new meaning into sharing resources. They share time, personnel, and inventory. Particularly, CFO Lisa McLaughlin should be commended for putting this document together with professionalism and grace and in a timely manner. And I also want to acknowledge Commissioner Blumberg as the Commissioner of Revenue and Finance for his suggestions and his support. In addition to the operating budget, there is a 2015 utility budget. Our utility remains strong and is largely funded by water and sewer rents, which are among the lowest in southern New Jersey. Our infrastructure is sound, and the services provided, while sometimes taken for granted, are amongst the most important to our residents and visitors. For each one of us, when we're in Margate, uses the services of our utility on a daily basis. The budget for 2015 for our water and sewer utility is $4,234,219. Our budget is actually down. The tax rate is exactly the same. Our salaries and wages are up just a little less than 1% in total for the year. We're well within our cap limits. There are 2 different state-imposed caps, and our position is strong. Our budget will be available, if introduced tonight, to the public. It will be also printed in newspaper, and the public hearing will be April 2nd. Later tonight, we're going to make a final determination publicly on when the Board of School estimate meeting will be, but I believe it will be March 25th. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Mr. Abbott.
Pretty tough to top that one. No tax increase, so I really don't have anything else to add at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Deeney. And Lisa.
Roger.
Mayor, Lisa reminded me earlier that we have to put into the flyer with the water bills the annual citywide yard sales, and I assume the commissioners want to go ahead and do that again this year. We usually discuss it about now.
Okay.
And last year we did it all in one weekend, both parts of town, and it was Mother's Day weekend. Spoke to Frank. He would prefer not to have a Mother's Day weekend. I think a lot of people would.
I think that would be a good idea.
Okay, so we've decided to make the weekend before, which is, what is that, Lisa, March 2nd and 3rd? Yes. Okay, and thank you for reminding us, Lisa. And we'll take care of all the advertisement, the website, the maps and so forth.
Cool.
Okay. Other than that, just very busy. The weather is freezing outside, but I approved 3 new houses, 3 house raisings this week, and the activity is not stopping. So very busy, and we have 12 planning board cases this month and 2 meetings.
Good.
A lot of activity.
Thank you, Roger. Maureen?
No, we're good, thanks.
Thank you. Fred?
I was scheduled to speak about the technology going into the courtroom when it gets renovated. but had no time this week to get that prepared, so at our next meeting, I'll discuss what exactly we're going to be using technology-wise in that courtroom, meeting room at 1 South. Besides that, the AARP had their first tax assistance program this past week, and I did get a good response from them. They thanked Margate for allowing them to use the building, and everything went well. And I'd like to thank Franz for helping out, getting the room ready and putting it back together. So that's a nice feature we were allowed to offer the AARP the use of the building, and I think it's really going to help out in the long run. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Marty, you have anything?
Yes, I have a couple of things. First and foremost, I want to thank Lisa and Rich and all the department heads for the preliminary budget. It's a great budget. We should be proud of the work that was done on it, and certainly boast 4 consecutive years of no tax increase. So thank you, Rich and Lisa specifically. The second thing is on our agenda tonight, item number 40. We're blessed to have Fred Verna volunteer to act as a temporary purchasing agent. So I want to thank Fred for assuming that role. I think that I know that it's a very important role, and hopefully we'll approve that. And my goal will be, as we move forward, to work with Rich. I think we have a great opportunity to talk to Ventnor and Longport about sharing this position, and not only the position, but the services that go with it. So we'll be working on that in the future. So that's what I have. Thank you.
Brenda?
I too would like to thank Lisa McLaughlin for the preparation of this year's budget. I know you've been working really, really hard, coming in early and staying late, and thank you. I also want to thank Rich Deeney and everybody here at the table, because we all played roles. I know we all had wish lists, and we had to, figure out, we had to scale back so that we could go another straight year of no tax increase, making it 4 in a row. And not only did we accomplish that goal, but we did it with a reduction of $125,000 from last year's budget. So a sincere thank you to Lisa and to everybody. Another year of flat tax is especially helpful to all of us, considering the county rate increases. And hopefully Atlantic City will in the near future come up with a plan for sustainability so that we can maybe have a 0 tax increase in the future. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to go back and tell Frank, Tony, Chief Wilson, what a pleasure it is to be mayor of a community like this when the services they provide during an emergency. Every time it snows, I get favorable comparisons to our neighbors as far as snow removal. I know the fire department was out in the middle of the night turning water off, and the next morning I got a call from the chairman of the Freeholder Board, who publicly commented and complimented you, Tony. Chief, and I know it's difficult for you and your members to also do that. As far as the budget, the budget is a great budget. You've heard that before. There are not a lot of towns in the state of New Jersey who can say that their ratables have risen every year since 2007, and they have a flat budget in the municipal tax rate for 4 years. I think last year, Cherry Hill and Margate were the only 2. I haven't heard yet about Cherry Hill, but we should all be very proud of the work that everybody is doing together to get to that point. At this point, we will open, to public comment. You have 3 minutes on any item that was discussed here in this work session.
Good afternoon. My name's John Kenny. I live at 302 North Pembroke. Been a citizen here, since 72, coming in since 1948. We have a problem on Washington Avenue, 122 North Washington.
Jack, I'm going to have to interrupt you here. This comment is only for items that were discussed here.
Sewers?
Man, you're pushing.
No, if it shouldn't be now, I brought it up because it's sewers, but if not, I'll wait.
Go ahead, Jack. Go.
Finish?
Finish, please.
The sewer has been blocked in front of 122 now for 3 weeks. It's beyond a curb. As of right now, my son just pulled the top on the T, and the water from the buildings flows up and over. It will not go into the street. Twice before, that street collapsed at the same place. Right now, it looks like it's being undercut again, and the blacktop is separating from the gutter. I don't know what I have to do to have it taken care of. Everybody has been very nice, but the problem is still here. So is there something we can do to correct it? Looking into the pipe underneath, it looks like it may have collapsed.
Jack, I spoke to you about that the other day. I spoke to Frank. Frank, you want to comment on this?
Sure. I did explain to you that we were bringing a truck in. I know for a fact that our line is clear, okay? You did have broken pipes underneath your sidewalk, which was drawing the sand into the line, that we came there on a few occasions and cleaned it for you. Okay, we told you that this week Video Pipe would come into town to clean your line, okay? Because of the weather, they cannot come out with that truck, okay? It has to be above 32 degrees. So that's why they haven't been there. But on the other hand, we take care of the curb out. It's in the code book, okay? I explained that whole thing to you.
Yes, you did.
When my men came back, they told me that the clean out, the T was broken at the bottom.
T is repaired.
Okay.
It's been repaired for 2 weeks.
Now, there's still sand coming into the line from somewhere. I don't know where, but there is sand coming in. So if you would be patient and let us get Video Pipe in here.
I would be very happy to be patient. The problem is my tenants. I had to remove my mother-in-law from the property the other day and bring her to my house because it's coming back into her unit.
And I understand that. But what I'm trying to say is the sand that got into your line is not coming from our line because it's broken. It's not, okay?
Yeah, I don't know, Frank.
Okay.
But I don't know what
And I
to do
do.
with the tenants either.
Right.
Do I take them out, send them to a motel?
I've had over 40 years' experience, believe me. When I know there's a pipe broken and sand gets into the line, it has to be cleaned out, okay? And that's where we're at this point.
What can I tell the tenants? Can I tell them it's safe to stay?
I can tell you by tomorrow morning, I can send our guys over there to clean the line out again. And then from there, we can wait until next week until
That's
Video
fine.
Pipe comes in.
Okay?
That's fine.
Right.
Give me a call, I'll be there,
Yes,
see what we can do.
Right.
yes.
Thank you very much.
That was easy.
I thank you and you and you for getting back to me.
Here. Hey, anyone else?
Sewell, 22 West Drive. Following up on the remarks of Mr. Deeney and our esteemed solicitor, it seems that the mayor's former running mate has a slightly different take on budgetary expenditures. He stipulates a figure of $700,000 that were squandered by you, Mayor, which could have resulted in a tax reduction. My numbers come up to $647,000, but your former running mate and co-commissioner takes issue with that number, and I would like to see a policy in effect that would reduce and eliminate such squandering of hundreds of thousands of dollars unnecessarily. And I think it's incumbent upon you, Mayor, to take the bold initiative to ban pay-to-play, including services in kind, ban nepotism and patronage going forward. These are costly expenditures to the taxpayers. We, as Mr. Deeney may confirm, are in a deflationary cycle in our economy, which should actually result in reductions in cost. And if you keep spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, like Mr. Campbell, former Commissioner Campbell, pointed out in today's paper, we're not going to be able to do this. Let's get on the ball and let's get an ordinance on the book to prevent the excesses that have occurred under your administration. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome, John. Anyone else?
You missed it, Commissioner Campbell. I was shooting your numbers.
Is there any other public comment?
Stephen Altman, 9003 Amherst Avenue, Margate. A few things. I wondered whether Frank had any recommendations for homeowners to keep pipes from freezing.
The best way is keep your water dripping, especially at night when you're not using it and the water's standing still. Just crack your spigot a little and just let it drip.
Okay, thank you. I also wondered whether we could insert into the water and sewer bills something that reminds people to be cognizant of pedestrians crossing streets in Margate, as we've done in the past.
Is there anything in there?
It's actually going in again. Yeah,
It's already taken care of.
Okay, thank you. And also, just a curiosity, I was in Margate Concerned Citizens as chairman of a committee that looked at the office that Mr. Deeney now holds, and I'm just curious whether anybody has calculated what savings have accrued from having a city manager over the last number of years that we've been able to have Mr. Deeney in that position. And I wondered whether somebody might do some calculations to see what that position has saved the city of Margate at some point. Also, I would have to take exception with my neighbor over here on a couple of things that were said. I do believe Margate does have an ordinance relating to nepotism. Let me see. Chapter 502, page 1. There is a document that I've looked at that does say there is a ruling on nepotism. Am I correct about that?
That is correct.
That is correct. So we do have that. And one other thing that I might like to comment on, my understanding is that citizenship in a democracy is AAA ball. I mean, it's really something that requires all of us to look beyond our personal interest. I, as you all know, often come up here and recommend things that would help senior citizens improve their quality of life. But again, just recently, I looked into all the comments that were made about the settlement with Mr. Hiltner. My understanding from figures that I've looked at, besides the $700,000 figure that's been recommended or suggested as a loss, that the net savings to Margate over a period of years will be about $1.5 million. Am I correct on that?
You are correct, Mr.
Thank you.
Over the terms of that 9-year agreement, that's what the savings would be.
About $1.5 million rather than the loss of $700,000.
That's correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Sharon Simon, 424 North Thurlow Avenue. Could someone just please explain that comment They're a savings of what, over what period of time?
You'd have to ask the person who made the comment.
No, you agreed with it. You said he was correct.
That is correct.
What's correct? That we're not going to have a city
This is
clerk?
not, Sharon, this is public comment.
No. You answered his question. Mr. Dean, are you saying that without Mr. Hiltner here over 9 years or whatever he just said, we're saving hundreds of thousands of dollars? Is that coming from our business administrator or from the mayor who wanted to get rid of the clerk?
My ears and my lips are mine, not anybody else.
Exactly. Okay, because it's not like we're not going to have a clerk, and we're not going to have a purchasing agent, and we're not going to have a tax collector. In fact, Tom Hiltner did all 4 jobs, maybe 5, I don't know, for a very low price when you add them all together. And now that you're dividing up all the responsibilities, because one person really certainly couldn't handle all that except our famous or infamous Tom Hiltner, it's not going to save us money. So that's a bunch of BS. But getting back to more important things and more positive things, I just want to thank everybody, and particularly Lisa, and everybody else who's involved in the budget. And over the last 4 years, actually 8 years, I believe, there weren't any tax increases. I may be incorrect on the 8, but at least for 6. And, you know, no matter who's the commissioner, who's the mayor, Margate is great, our bonds are great, everything's great because we have long-term dedicated employees. And that's terrific. And Tom Hiltner was one of them. And a lot of what we have saved over the years is because of Tom Hiltner. And I've heard the Concerned Citizens Group and people up here make comments that the former administrators were wasting money and throwing money away, like having the building department and this and this and that, and people were stealing and getting away with all these terrible things. And that's virtually impossible given our bond rating and our economy and everything. So any other community would be happy, wonderful to be in our situation. So why this administration has dug up all these kind of things and these silly things, we're lucky, we're blessed. And so let's be positive from now on. As far as the dredging and the lagoon, I think maybe it would be a good idea to send letters to everybody, not just the people that live on the lagoon, just as we have people who don't live on the beachfront are interested in the dunes and this flooding and all that. I think it's a citywide concern, and I think you can get support. You can get support from everybody. So I think Ed's busy, but maybe you can talk to Ed about that later.
I'll tell him.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ed.
Anyone else? Public comment?
Steve Warner, 103 North Sumner Avenue. I'd just like to make a comment. Ann Panco's just passed about a year ago, and I remember how hard she fought and we fought to get the business administrator here, and so many people didn't want him. And I just want to say, Rich, and I've told you this before, I think you've done a great job, and Lisa, and we really have the city on a good footing now, and I just want to thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Is a motion to close public comment?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Rich.
Anybody with a roll call, please?
I got to call roll? I'm sorry. I missed it last time, too, and I got reappointed. Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Tarby?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'll make a
that
motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Second. Roll call.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Mayor Becker, Commissioner Tarby?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Thank you all. We're going to take a very brief break, and we will start the public